Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Who Let Me Do This? Me, and also you. So let's talk about it. I'm not in my closet because I'm really done with that concept right now because it is so cold here in Connecticut and New England in general. And my closet is the coldest area in the house. Like our room has always been the coldest because our windows are broken and there's nobody next to us, so the wall is on the outside. There's like not really any insulation in our condo, so there's that. But my closet is always freezing. So I didn't really feel like being in there. So we're on my bed instead. This looks all right. Excuse the hair. We naturally dried our hair today. We are going out to dinner tonight as a family past Brian's bedtime and I'm scared. But anyways, today I actually just wanted to sit and talk about really what everyone's talking about right now, which is the Gabby Petito documentary and all that. First of all, I have to say that I'm ashamed that this name is Brian because that is my son's name, that was my uncle's name, and clearly was the reason why I wanted to name my son after my uncle, which was Brian, spelt the exact same way, and I'm aggravated about it. Let it be known that not all men named Brian are because my baby is the sweetest little thing, an angel. So just know. And I feel like there's always something going on with a man named Brian or a teenager named Brian, and that's all I was seeing before I had him, and even up to now. And I'm like, oh my god, did I name him the right thing? Because clearly all these men named Brian are having some issues right now. I just sat and watched it yesterday and then I watched the rest of it with my husband at night. And I think everything I have to say is pretty much what everyone's been saying, to be honest, is that his parents are pieces of and I personally don't understand that. Yes, that's your child. You want to protect your child, but why would you go to all these lengths and do all these weird, suspicious things and immediately hire a lawyer after he comes home and tells you, hey, this is alleged. We don't know exactly what he said. I wish we knew that. Allegedly tells his parents that he Gabby, and they're like, let's get a lawyer and we're not talking to anybody, not even her family. You would think they would have at least the decency as parents to say something to her family or have support or something along the lines, but apparently not. To even find out that his mom hated her and was like possessive over her kid, her son, which we all know those boy moms that are crazy. I can assure you guys that will not be me. I don't understand that. I don't understand why you have a boy to make them your whole world and basically want them to act like your boyfriend, husband. It's sickening, honestly. I think what gets me is the fact they had a search for Brian when he went missing, and his parents found him after an hour, I think. I think it was about an hour after they were out there. Everyone was searching for like 30 plus days for him. So what do you know? What do you know, Laundries? Laundries. First of all, the last name is giving. It's giving dirty. It's giving dirty. I just don't understand how people can just be so cruel just to protect their child. Like I understand that, once you have a baby, and now I can speak on this, you want to protect your child. You want to be there for them and you want to, save them from everything. But there's some things you cannot save them from, especially if Brian was showing signs that he was basically narcissistic and kind of a psychopath, and there were signs before any of this even happened, before he got with Gabby, or the other thing that everyone's talking about on TikTok. So we're going to talk about it too. What about the girl with the dark hair? And I didn't really notice it at first because, I was just sitting and taking everything in. But what is her problem? Were you just secretly in love with Brian the whole time? Were you him? Like, what was the tea? There had to be some tea. He wasn't just living with you because you're best friends. No, there was something more behind that. Or, as everyone has mentioned, that she never mentioned Gabby by name, only Brian. Or even the Muab tape that came out of the body cam footage with the cops and having her labeling her as the aggressor when you could tell she's distraught, she has bruises. Why are you labeling her as the aggressor? I hope all those officers got fired, honestly, because you did not do your job at all. That just shed such a terrible light, not only on them, but just the situation. And if it had gone differently, then maybe Gabby would still be here. A lot of people have said that too, which I totally, totally agree with that. Are you going to place the aggressor to be this girl who's clearly distraught, clearly upset? You could just tell that she just doesn't know what she's saying because A, she's upset, B, she's talking to police, and C, she's worried about his reaction when everything's all said and done. And after the police leave, and if she's going to be left alone with him, what what the repercussions of her speaking to them is going to be, depending on what she says. So I think that's why she was being very like selective, and she seemed like she was acting crazy or like talking crazy. But I think she was just in fear of what he was going to do to her once the police left. Because I know that if I was in a situation like that, I would be very worried about that. But it also just didn't even seem like they cared about the fact that she was just like, what is the word? That she was just not out of her mind, but she was just kind of like disheveled and scared. And you could totally tell in the footage. And these officers were just like, oh, we're going to play her the aggressor. I really hope they all got fired for that. I really do. Because, and again, I will agree with everyone on TikTok that has already spoken about this. If that incident had gone differently, if Gabby was the one being taken to a domestic violence hotel, I'm dead at that. I'm so dead. Like, how stupid are you? If she was the one taken to the hotel, things would have gone differently, because clearly she was speaking to her ex-boyfriend about leaving him, not for him, but to leave him because of how terrible he was. That says so much. It kind of goes hand in hand, as I've talked about last week, in relationships, or at least the ones that I was in, especially the one in high school. I remember I just wanted to not cause an argument, not cause anything terrible, because at the end of the relationship I had with my ex, it was not that great, to say the least. And I do believe that there was probably some narcissistic tendencies there. However, I could be wrong, but that's me. You know, you do want to keep it together. You want to see the good in them. You want to try and change them. You want them to just be the way that they were. And that's not ever going to happen, because what they were was a ruse to get you in. And now you have the most terrible time getting out, if you get out at all. That whole statistic of women that are in these relationships just keep going back and keep going back and keep going back, which also the cops kept saying in that tape, if you watch it, and how it leads to a bigger, more awful situation. But they still just chose to basically kind of ignore the situation. Allegedly. All of it was just, I was just like, what? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, I don't understand people that have these tendencies of narcissism, possession, obsession, to be honest, because how can you just be so obsessed with someone but also act like you hate them at the same time, to keep them around for what? Then turn it around to be like, well, no one's going to have them if I can't. And then that's when the terrible things happen. It's just such a mind like, who, there must be some sort of narcissistic disorder or something. I think there is like a narcissism personality disorder or something like that. I don't know. Also, I know that it is based on how you are raised and your environment. A lot of reason why 9 times out of 10 someone's the way they are is because of how they were brought up or the environment they were in. Because as humans, wow, I'm sounding so philosophical in this episode right now. Holy shit. As humans, we are sponges, basically, since we are born, which is true for children, and I think it does evolve as you get older. You absorb things and you adapt to your environment based on what is going on. So if someone's in a very abusive environment, they're going to adapt to that for fight or flight response, and knowing what to say and what to do in these types of situations to not cause anything to happen. Does it always work that way? Maybe not, obviously, because that's how some people end up in these terrible situations where not with us anymore. That's the best way I can say that. This whole entire, I'm kind of happy that her parents did this docu-series. I really am, because when this was going on, I mean, I already knew from the beginning that Brian was just a piece of, I just knew it from before it even came out, because you could just tell. I don't know, maybe I'm a very intuitive person and I like to think that I am, and I'm very sensitive to energy and stuff like that and vibes. So when someone's giving me a weird vibe, that's immediate no from me. And as soon as that thing's face popped up on the TV screen when this was all going on, I was just like, nope. And I automatically kind of knew that when this was going on, when she went missing, that nope, for his parents to just make everything 10 times worse. Honestly, I don't feel bad. Throwing things on their lawn, apparently. The people that hate them, the people that don't want to be around them, the people that were protesting when this was all going down and standing in front of their house and harassing them. I feel no sympathy towards them whatsoever, because they knew what happened and they said nothing. They said nothing to her parents, said nothing to anyone except through their lawyer. And even though they had a lawyer, they still said nothing. So therefore, they are the most useless people that I've ever seen in my life, that I've ever heard of. And not only that, let's get to the best part here. The mother wrote that note that was like burn after reading, saying that I love you no matter what. no matter what you do, you're always going to be my child. I love you. Like this weird, demented love letter that she sent to her own son. So there's where you've got some mommy issue, son issue. Like, I want to secretly be with my son issues arise. And basically saying that she would help him like bury a body and hide a body. I don't know if that's more telling than anything, but yet nothing has been done. And his parents are still walking free. Also, let's go back to the search thing for a second because I need to talk about this since I just watched it. Like, what the You've had these people out for 30 plus days searching for your son, and then all of a sudden you decide, okay, well, now that the rain's gone and the flooding's gone and wherever they were searching for him in that state park he liked to hike at, which they found his car at, by the way. They found him less than an hour, about an hour later, and he was nothing but bones. And then they found all his clothes and his little bag with all his little confession, which the confession was all let's be real, because he clearly showed force. What had happened to Gabby was not what he said happened, basically. That whole thing was just a ruse. It was all because he did not want to fall for it. He did not want to take the consequences of his actions. And of course, mommy and daddy were going to save him from that because, oh my God, especially his mother. That really creeped me out more than anything. And I think it does go to show, especially since they were doing their van life thing. If you follow me, my best friend Danielle, her and her boyfriend Zach, they've been doing the van life thing for a few years now. They love it. That's like, she's in Mexico right now, like living her best life. She goes all over Colorado and California and here and there. Like, she goes everywhere and they have the best time. But the difference is they're in a good relationship. I would kind of think after a while, though, being just you together would kind of drive you crazy. I guess not for them. But for some people, I can see how that also probably did accelerate how toxic Gabby and Brian's relationship was and how bad he was to her when there was a witness that called the cops, which is how we got the Moab incident body cam footage saying that he was slapping her. So why are you labeling her the aggressor, by the way? I can't. Huh? Are you okay? Are you the sand get to you, the desert air get to you a little too much? And I don't mean to be I mean no disrespect to Gabby's family or anything. And I do believe that they need more justice than what was served, honestly. And I hope that more people end up going down for this because this shouldn't have happened. None of it should have happened. And yes, Gabby kept dismissing all the things that Brian was doing in the fighting and talking to her friend and everyone. And, she just it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. It was never fine. I can say I'm happy that she did decide to try and leave him. But I think maybe at that point it was too late. But going back to what I was just saying, I think them just being together really did accelerate this happening. I could be wrong, but when you're alone with someone for a long period of time and they were doing the van life thing, driving everywhere, and it was just them with no escape from each other, that could also kind of add to it and just be like, you know what, drive everyone insane. Brian had no right to do what he did and take her life because of whatever was going on at that point. It is what it is because we can't bring back Gabby. I hope that she is happy and she's free and she is with her family and friends and living her best life because that's all that girl really wanted to do was live her best life. You could see from her Instagram, you could see from her one van life video she posted. She just wanted to be free and be happy and live life to the fullest. And that is the saddest part of this whole thing. Losing someone that is just so full of life and so happy because of what your own little insecure needs, your I can't talk, your own little insecurities. Brian, on the other hand, I hope that he's in hell and I hope that he's reaping what he sows. And karma is but I believe in karma. It will come back around. He'll come back to his parents, to his family. I hope you guys enjoyed me ramble about this documentary. Let me know in the comments what you think about this, if you've watched it, etc. I don't know. I'm blanking now because I feel like I just rambled and said everything I wanted to say, and now I'm like, take a breath. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you are someone that is struggling with or anything in a toxic relationship, I'm going to try to link some resources. Actually, no, I'm going to link below the website for the Gabby Petito Foundation that her parents started, I believe, and her step parents. And apparently there is a whole bunch of listings on there of resources that you can call if you need help in certain situations, etc. So I will leave that in the link down below. May Gabby rest in peace. May Brian burn in. Stay safe. Don't be stupid. And I'll see you in the next episode.